Welcome to my cooking show. This is Chef Raz, well, Master Chef Raz, presenting you 5 recipes. So these are 5 recipes that I love to make. These are all healthy recipes, skinny recipes, because I am quite conscious when it comes to the ingredients and the food that I like to eat. And they're all done into one single pot. So I'm only using this stainless steel frying pan. And this is the only thing that I own in terms of like cooking things. These are all lunch and dinner options. Some of it, maybe 1 out of these 5 recipes, can be a breakfast recipe because it's slightly lighter. However, the other 4, it's a bit more like, I wouldn't see myself eating them during breakfast, like definitely not. This will be divided into 5 sections, each section for a new recipe, not rocket science. I feel like that makes sense and it's easier to follow this way. For my first recipe of the video, we are actually gonna do a stir fry, and the stir fry consists of tofu and a bunch of vegetables, which I've already went through and prepped everything earlier. Everything's washed and ready to go. I'm just waiting on this frying pan to heat up. This is my trusted huge ass frying pan that finally fits in my sink so I can wash this comfortably, and a peanut butter and soy sauce on the side. We are gonna put some pineapple in here because what I've discovered recently, I like to add fruits in my dishes. So in this dish we're actually gonna have fried pineapple. Later in the video we might discover a new fruit that I like to fry, but you're gonna have to stick around to see what that fruit is. This recipe will probably take around maybe like 20 minutes max. That includes the prepping time plus the actual stir fry time. Very quick and simple and easy recipe to do. You can add more ingredients to this. You can take out some ingredients in here. If you're not a fan of the mushroom, you can take the mushroom out. If you're not a fan of the tofu, you can take the tofu out. If you don't want the sweet corn, you can take the sweet corn out. You know, I feel like you're getting what I'm throwing at you. Let's see this bounciness. Wow. Ready to go. A little bit of olive oil really goes a long way. I like to make sure it goes everywhere on the pan. I think you can actually throw everything in the frying pan and just let it do its thing, but I do like to start with the mushrooms because it softens them up a little bit. I think mushrooms usually take a bit longer to cook, and I don't just want to like throw everything in here. So mushrooms go first, sweet corn goes next, the tofu next, a little bit of pineapple. I want to get my tofu a little bit more brown and a little bit more fried. Also the pineapple is starting to brown on one side, so just shifting it on another side. It's not really rocket science, you know, like it's really just a stir fry with a lot of like veggies up to my preference or to whatever I have in the fridge. To make my peanut butter sauce, I'm using this tiny bowl here. Some peanut butter, smooth peanut butter. I don't like the crunchy one. And some of the soy sauce. This much peanut butter, then I put a little bit of soy sauce. And so I want to stir this really well until it becomes smooth. To thin this out and to make it into a sauce, I put water. Still water, preferably. You can do sparkling if you're crazy. For the next step, I'm gonna be mixing this peanut butter sauce with my stir fry. Et voila, this is the dish. Mwah. I would give this like a 10 out of 10. Ever since I've discovered that I can add pineapple in this, I've been obsessed. Like, I've been putting pineapple non-stop. And I really like making this because this takes about like 20 minutes. In 20 minutes, I'm done. This is a very simple and quick rice dish. We're really just kind of mixing 3 things. This is the lazy version. I'm just using this pouch of rice and I'm gonna put this over my meat, my fake meat that I'm gonna fry in a second, and I'm gonna mix everything with a bit of sauce and some herbs and maybe a bit of salt and whatever else I can find. I'm again using my trusted olive oil that I stole from a while ago from a restaurant. Yeah, my pan is a bit too hot. I'm gonna put some diced onions. So as soon as the onions get a little bit brown, I'm gonna go in and add this mince and try and defrost it a little bit. It's already quite soft to begin with, but I want to remove some of that excess ice. It doesn't really need to stay on the fire for long because I'm gonna add this tomato can, and this tomato can is gonna get everything coated. I just want to get these into the pan together to let the flavors do their thing and let it absorb from each other whatever they need to absorb. I don't really know, whatever. I've definitely left the pan get a bit too hot for my liking. I can sense that a lot of things are sticking to it. Let me do a taste test of this. Let's see where we are, how far off. I'm happy with that. As I'm happy with that, I'm gonna put half of the rice. I'm not gonna do the whole pack. I usually put only half of a can. Now this time I didn't find half cans, and so I bought a full one and I only put half of it. I'm gonna do the same with the rice, and I can do that all into this one pan. Time to add a little bit of water. I like to do that because the rice gets cooked much better this way. Let's put a bit more salt, a bit more of the herbs. I like it herby. This was really born out of necessity of me having to use the ingredients that I had left in the fridge. Occasionally, like today, I add a bit of onions to begin with to give it an extra flavor. Looking at it now, I think maybe some green stuff would work really well on top. Not coriander, because coriander tastes like soap to me, but something fresh and green to just give it a nicer visual vibe. You know, seeing it is all kind of brown and reds, and it's just a mix of colors, just a bit, yeah, it's not really giving what it's maybe meant to be giving. If for sure, if it had a leaf, it would be 10 times better visually. This next recipe comes from my mom. This is something that she likes to make, and whenever she makes this, she makes big batches of it and then she eats this for the next 5 days. However, I am not gonna do that. I am only gonna do a small portion for myself. I might or I might not have a bit of leftover for the following day. And this is a lentil cream soup with a bit of carrot. What I need to do next is wash the lentils. Now, the key element of this is washing the lentils really, really well. Because if you don't wash them well, then you're gonna fart all night long and all day long. The idea behind this is like, I wanna boil all these to the best of my abilities and then blend everything into this NutriBullet. My measurements are around 100 grams of lentils. I'm sure I'm gonna lose quite a bit of this as I'm washing them, because like I always do. I'm following the instructions on the pack of the lentils. So it says boil for 10 minutes. Now bring to boil for 10 minutes, simmer for 15. So I'm gonna do just that. In between, I'm gonna start checking and seeing if maybe I need to put more water or less water. With this recipe, it kind of works both ways. It is good that now there's nothing to do. There's just me waiting on this to boil, and that's all I have to do. But at the same time, this is not as quick of a recipe, as in like, if I don't have those 30 minutes to wait on it to boil and those extra 10 minutes at the end to kind of mix everything and prepare it further, then this is not really the recipe that I would make for myself on the day. This is what I'm using, the paprika, sweet paprika. I just want to give it some taste and a bit of color. Maybe a little bit of salt now as well. A little bit of caraway seeds. I want to say a little goes a long way, so not too crazy on the caraway. The liquid that the lentils and the carrot boils in is going to be used to thin out the consistency of this soup. If it's too thick, I can add a bit more. If it's too thin, there's nothing I can do really. But like, the idea is I'm not gonna throw all the liquid out as soon as it's finished boiling. This is my first attempt. Obviously it's a bit thick. And this is where saving the water that the lentils boiled in really comes in handy, because now I can easily just go back in, put a bit more of this, and get back to blending again. So this was the lentil soup. I am very happy with how it turned out. It tastes exactly the way my mom makes it. Every time I go back home, I always eat this made by her. The lemon as well as the bread is fully optional, but I do think the lemon is needed because it changes the taste. It gives it, I don't know, it becomes something else. And so this is my third recipe. It does take a bit longer than the previous ones just because of the waiting time that you have to wait for it to boil, and it's just a bit long. If you did have the means, you could probably make a lot of it and keep it in the fridge for like 3 days and just eat slowly during the days you have it. This next recipe is actually one of my favorites out of the entire recipes that I'm showing in this video. This is a summer salad. This is a salad of 2026. It got invented by my friend who came over, and we tried to make this once, and then ever since I've been obsessed and I've been making this non-stop. And really so skinny, like this is the skinniest that you can eat. And because I said in the beginning I like to put fruit in the things that I cook, this recipe actually involves a peach, so a peach that is gonna be fried much later in the video. But really this one is quite easy in terms of you only have to chop a bunch of vegetables, which I've already prepped already here on my side. And it's one of those where you can just get a speaker, I have the speaker there, put some music, put an album, blast some songs, put some headphones, whatever you want to do. As soon as everything's chopped, they all need to go into this oven that is preheating as we speak, and it's probably gonna sit in there at 200 degrees for about 45 minutes, maybe it's even less than 45, maybe it's more than 45. It really just depends on the speed and how fast these vegetables tend to cook. That's why I cut them quite small, because I want to speed it up as much as possible. We've got a miso paste, which miso paste is gonna coat my sweet potatoes. These sweet potatoes is gonna get coated because they're gonna get an extra kick and it's gonna get an extra flavor, which is gonna hit really nicely in the final result of the salad. I can go ahead and move this chopped carrot onto my tray. I have done in the past honey roasted carrot. This time around I ran out of honey, so that's not on my hands now. I'm really trying to squeeze all this miso paste out because I don't want to waste too much. I also will add a little bit of olive oil because this will help cook a little bit quicker. Miso paste, a bit of olive oil. What I want to do now is get my hands in here and get dirty and disgusting and nasty. I want to put everything into one layer. I don't want to get them on top of each other because that will slow me down in cooking. The miso paste is already salty enough, so you really don't need anything else. And it's ready to go into the oven for the next 45 minutes. I'm waiting on my frying pan to heat up, and as soon as I feel like this is hot enough, I'm gonna go ahead and drop all the peaches that I cut earlier into these frying pans. So they're all cut into tiny pieces, again, just for it to be cooking much quicker. And I have a glass of water, so the idea behind this is I'm not gonna use any oil, I'm not gonna use any butter, I'm not gonna use any nonsense here. So really it's just gonna be the peach and water. Gonna lower the heat a little bit and just let it evaporate, and as soon as it's softened up, that's ready to go and ready to get in the salad. And I'm gonna be ready to assemble all of this. I'm gonna put the leaves first on the bottom of the plate. This is where the inner artist comes to life. You can be very creative with the ingredients that you put and with the way you wanna style it on the plate. Sweet potato is gonna go nicely on top of this. It's gonna fall in between these leaves and it's gonna look very nice and colorful on the plate. I'm gonna go ahead and put the carrot, create a new persona. The red pepper is gonna get chopped into tiny pieces. Sprinkle it all around. Time to go ahead with the goat's cheese. Not too much, just really a bit of color, a bit of different taste. It pairs out really nicely with the peach. I have discovered these past few times when I've made this recipe. I try and put the peach next to the goat's cheese, as the peach is still a bit warm and hopefully it's gonna melt some of this goat's cheese. This salad gets a 10 out of 10 from Chef Raz here. I am really happy and really pleased with the outcome of this, and honestly, if there's any recipe out of this whole video that I fully recommend to make, it would be this. It doesn't take long, you can blast music while you wait for the veggies to cook, you can blast music while chopping everything, and visually at the end you have a nice beautiful Mona Lisa here, ready to be consumed and ready to be savored slowly watching something or whatever you want to do. For me, this salad honestly works both ways, as in hot and cold as well. It just hits the spot. This is where I'm gonna leave you with this recipe. Honestly, 10 out of 10. Summer skinny peach salad. Groundbreaking, revolutionary. It deserves to be in the Louvre, and voila. Well, this is it. We have reached the end. We have reached the 5th and final recipe of this video, and I'm boiling the water as we speak, so it might get a little bit noisy in the background, because we are going to use an egg and the egg needs to be boiled. So I like to boil the eggs at 10 minutes. And so as this is going to boil in the little pot that I have here on the side, we're going to go ahead and fry a paratha. Paratha is this like Indian flatbread, I think, if I'm not mistaken. It's all going to be topped off with some spinach, beetroot, avocado, and the boiled egg on top. I don't know if you're meant to wash the eggs. I mean, some Google searches are telling me that you must wash the egg. Some are telling me that you don't need to wash the egg. I'm washing the egg. Maybe it's not meant to be, but I like to wash the egg. With the water boiling, I'm gonna go ahead and put the egg inside and set a timer for 10 minutes. This is the paratha I was talking about earlier. This is the stuff that we're gonna fry, and we're gonna use this as a base to put all these toppings on top of it. It says cook straight from frozen, hence why I'm trying to keep it in the freezer as much as possible and only add it to my frying pan in the last second. So putting it straight on here. With the paratha done, I can take this out and go ahead and do my spinach. So with my spinach looking a bit like this, I'm gonna move you closer and we're gonna go ahead and plate my paratha, and that will finalize the last meal and the last recipe of this video. I like to put the spinach in the middle first, almost as a base. I'm gonna follow up with the egg. I like to cut the egg in two and again in another two. Some salt for the egg. Beetroot next, sprinkled all over. The last part of this is adding the avocado that I cut last night, seeing if it's actually ripe this time, because last night it was not. So by the looks of it, this looks... I'm gonna go in and not put this one, but I'm gonna move in with some cucumber. This is my breakfast tostada, whatever. I don't even know if you can call it a tostada, not really, but we're gonna roll with it. Ending it with sort of like a breakfast dish, a very skinny breakfast, very light dinner, whatever you wanna have it as. It's very easy to make, as you've probably just seen, followed me step by step. And if there's anything that I could improve in any of these recipes, maybe let me know. I'm very happy to be improving some of these recipes and very happy to learn and very happy to adjust and improve, and maybe I will enhance these ones even more, like these existing recipes of mine. Maybe they're already perfect, I don't know. So maybe that's something that can be discussed in the future, but for now, this is the way I'm making them, and this is the way I'm gonna continue making them. With all that being said, this is where I'm gonna leave you. I've got a meal to eat, and you probably have also better things to do than watching me. Hopefully some of these recipes have been groundbreaking and life-changing, and if not, do I really care? No, I'm still gonna continue making them into infinity. So I've already done a 15-minute timer. No, I've already done a 10 minutes, then I've already done another 25 minutes. So if 25 is minus 4 is 21. So 21 plus 10 is 30. No. 20, but what am I doing? 20. Puppy, wanna see a treat that's worth it? Wee! 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 Hey, stop!